Anne, Julian, Dick and George rode their bikes along a rocky mountain path. Dawn had barely cracked the horizon when they set out, yet the sky was already bruising, purple and pink above the jagged peaks. The air vibrated with anticipation, excitement, and a hint of unease. Seeds inside Anne's bag. The shell pulsed with a steady rhythm, thrumming faintly in time with the rattle of their bikes against the rocks. In the meager light, the 3 keys nestled together, their faint gleam hinting at the magic they held. Ever since they'd escaped the clutches of the Sea King, a chill had settled over Julian's heart. A stark counterpoint to the warmth of the midday sun. Third, the laughter echoed in his ears, cold and cruel, a constant reminder of their perilous journey. By mid-afternoon, the road had narrowed to a goat track between sheer cliffs. Mist swirled below, pooling at their feet like a disturbed sea. The world itself seemed muffled, as if wrapped in cotton, muffling all sounds save the crunch of gravel under their tires. "It feels like we're being watched," Anne murmured, her gaze fixed on the mist-shrouded path ahead. A shiver ran down her spine, raising goosebumps on her arms. Timmy, usually a boisterous ball of energy, whimpered softly, pressing close to her leg, his tail tucked between his legs. His ears flattened against his head, twitched nervously. That's when the unease tightened into a solid knot in Anne's stomach. The mist in front of them, still and unmoving moments before, began to stir. Not drift, move. It writhed and twisted, solidifying into the shape of a tall, thin figure cloaked in shadow. The figure's eyes glowed a disconcerting pale white, like embers burning in the ashes of a dead star. At last, the figure rasped, its voice like silk torn in half, echoing eerily through the narrow valley. "The brave little adventurers! How kind of you to gather the keys for me." A cruel smile twisted the corners of its shadowy lips. Dick swallowed, his Adam's apple bobbing nervously. Are we expecting tea and crumpets, or—" He gestured weakly at the figure. A fight, the so-called tea-stealing shadow trickster, a creature of myth and nightmare, bowed mockingly. It was an old foe of their grandfathers, a being so ancient that even the elders knew little of its origins or powers. All they knew was that it craved magic and power, and would stop at nothing to get it. The trickster stood, straightening his non-existent clothes. "Why bother with tea, my dear boy, when we have company to entertain? I am older than your world remembers. I was once a guardian of magic, but why guard when you can own? With the Lost Island's treasure, I will bend reality to my will. And you, dear children, will hand it over." "Not a chance," George snapped, stepping forward, her chin tilted defiantly upward. The trickster's form flickered, multiplying into 3, then 5, then 10 copies of itself surrounding the children. Each beckoned and hissed, taunted and jeered, pleaded and cajoled, each voice different, yet all echoing the same dark intent. "Give me the shell. You cannot win. Why fight what you cannot stop?" Slat! One voice cut through the cacophony, sharp and clear, commanding attention. Anne clutched the shell tighter, its soft glow dimming under the trickster's unnerving scrutiny, as though afraid. But she shook off her fear, drawing strength from her companions. Julian took a deep breath, forcing himself to meet the trickster's gaze directly. "We don't fear you," he stated, his voice unwavering. "We have something you'll never understand. Trust." "Trust?" the trickster sneered, the sneer twisting his shadowy features into a grotesque parody of a smile. "Trust breaks. Shadows remain." With a sudden sinuous movement, the trickster lunged, his arms stretched and warped, becoming smoke and flame and ice. He was upon them, enveloping them in his chilling embrace. Timmy let out a furious bark, leaping and snapping at the trickster's encroaching darkness. Startled, the trickster recoiled, hissing as the dog's teeth grazed his arm. The other figures recoiled at Timmy's touch as well, dissolving into wisps of black mist. Jaws grabbed a nearby branch, thick as a man's arm, and swung it at the trickster, connecting with a sickening crunch. The blow sent him sprawling, momentarily dispersing his form. Dick, eager to help but lacking in finesse, swung wildly, catching only empty air and sending a spray of pebbles skittering down the hillside. In the midst of the chaos, Anne laughed, a nervous giggle escaping her lips. Classic Dick. she said, shaking her head despite the danger. Even fear had its funny side. The real trickster, the original, the true, rose to his feet, towering over the children, his form solidifying. His voice echoed around them, shaking the very cliffs they huddled behind. "This is only the beginning," he boomed, his words a physical force that threatened to knock them off their feet. "The cave of echoes will reveal more than riddles. It will reveal your fears, and I will be waiting." With a final flourish, he threw back his head and dissolved into the mist, leaving the children trembling in the sudden silence, the only sound Timmy's soft growl. Taking a shaky breath, Julian straightened, pushing away his fear. "See, he wants us to give up," he said, his voice firm. "But he underestimated us." Anne nodded, clutching the shell as it glowed faintly, reassuringly. They had faced greater odds than this before. They had crossed treacherous seas and fought mythical beasts. They were almost at the end of their journey. "We keep going," she said, her voice ringing with quiet confidence. "Together."